In the early hours of Sunday, July 26, 2009, a group of armed insurgents, popularly known as Boko Haram, launched well-coordinated attacks on Maiduguri, inflicting high-scale deaths and destructions. One year after they were dislodged, the insurgents regrouped under a deadly leader, Abubakar Shekau. Boko Haram recruited hundreds of young fighters from different communities of Maiduguri, Jere, and parts of Konduga between December 2010 and 2012. The terror group, after resurfacing, introduced suicide attacks and accelerated use of improvised explosive devices to attack communities, mosques, and churches, in addition to serial assassination of residents, particularly district and ward heads, policemen, Islamic scholars, pastors, public office holders, civil servants, and other residents who report their activities to the armed forces. The Boko Haram activities mounted so much pressure on residents of Maiduguri and Jere, which miraculously led to the emergence of patriotic youth volunteers, popularly called the civilian JTF. With the active participation of the military, the Borno state government organized and formalized the civilian JTF. Governor Kashim Shettima approved the funding, recruitment, orientation, training, kitting, provision of patrol vehicles, and deployments to complement the gallant efforts of the Nigerian armed forces in the fight against insurgency. Through a combined approach, Boko Haram insurgents were chased out of Maiduguri, and areas they controlled were recovered and demolished by the armed forces. In 2014, however, the insurgents shifted their focus to local government areas. From records available, the insurgents attacked virtually all the 27 local government areas of Borno State at different times. The attack on government secondary school Chibok on April 14, 2014, and abduction of over 200 precious schoolgirls attracted global attention. The Boko Haram carried out numerous other attacks on hundreds of primary and secondary schools across the state, including those rebuilt after their initial attacks. They killed thousands of citizens, abducted and raped women, destroyed thousands of homes, including those rebuilt by the Borno state government after previous attacks in places like Bama, Goza, Konduga, Mafa, Kawuri, Beni Sheikh, Mainok, Ngala, Jakana, Yoyo, and many other communities, before the insurgents finally occupied 20 out of the 27 local government areas of Borno State. While battling with provisions of basic infrastructure, human capacity development, and other essential services, the state government was left to bear the huge burden of not only reconstructing communities and rehabilitating victims, but also catering for nearly 2 million internally displaced persons in and around the IDP camps in Borno, Gombe, and Adamawa states, and fleeing citizens taking refuge outside Nigeria. The state government managed an incredibly tough situation without tangible support from the federal government between 2011 and March 2015, and painfully with almost zero internally generated revenue due to the collapse of economic activities as a result of insurgency attacks that turned thousands of citizens from industrious employers and generous givers to jobless and poor beggars. On May 29, 2015, came a sigh of great relief when the All Progressive Congress (APC) took over the mantle of leadership with the swearing-in of President Muhammadu Buhari. In exercising his first directive as the new Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Buhari directed the immediate relocation of the military's command and control center to Maiduguri, aimed at unifying combat components, instant orders for ground and air support, among others.
But victory cannot be achieved by basing the command and control center in Abuja. The command center will be relocated to Maiduguri and remain until Boko Haram is completely subdued.
President Buhari also appointed combat-ready service chiefs with a clear mandate of ending the Boko Haram insurgency before the end of December 2015. Experts regard the president's issuance of deadline to the service chiefs as an important strategy that has put the service chiefs on their toes, working 24/7 to meet the deadline. Local government areas have been recovered. Bama local government area, for instance, which was occupied as a caliphate, was recovered from the insurgents under the Buhari administration, and so was Gwoza, Mafa, and 15 more local government areas. With these giant efforts, the Borno State government shifted its main focus to reconstruction of communities to enable IDPs return to their homes. Governor Shettima has announced that all IDP camps in Borno State, now being managed by the federal government through the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA, with support from Borno State Emergency Management Agency, are to be closed. To walk his talk, Governor Shettima created the Ministry for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement on September 16, 2015, with a mandate of rebuilding all communities, private homes, public structures, as well as rehabilitating victims. Reconstruction works are categorized in phases, starting with communities in Kaga, Maiduguri, Jere, Konduga, and Bama local government areas under Phase 1. The choice of communities is based on immediate access to avoid interrupting military operations. Already so much has been achieved in Auno, Jakana and Bene Sheikh in Kaga local government area, with the Borno State government working in 20 different sites. In carrying out reconstructions, Governor Kashim Shettima saw the need to remodel affected communities. To achieve that, the governor set some conditions that all buildings, particularly schools, hospitals, markets, public offices, estates and private homes, must have roofing tiles and sheets in place of zinc, which they originally had before being destroyed, and that all interior must have POPs instead of ceilings, modern floor and wall tiles instead of ordinary floors and plaster, while modern doors and sliding windows with beautiful burglary proofs must be installed in place of iron doors and windows that were being used in public schools. The Ministry for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement has fully acted in obedience to Governor Shettima's standards. In Auno village, the government secondary school, the district head palace, the central mosque, the primary health care center, primary schools and water supply boreholes destroyed by the insurgents are being built with modern materials, making them very elegant. In Jakana, the state government has rebuilt the Nigerian police quarters with 4 units of 2-bedroom flats, rebuilt Jakana Primary School and constructed water supply projects, among others. In Beni Sheikh, headquarters of Kaga, projects like the General Hospital and 4 dispensaries, local government secretariat, police station and barracks composed of 20 bedrooms, 4 primary schools and some of the secondary schools, the magistrate court, upper area court, 20 units of housing estate, the complex of the Federal Road Safety Commission with emergency clinic, office and staff quarters. The cooperative and departmental stores are at various levels of completion. The Borno State government has even started the construction of 400 units of mass housing in Mainta, Kuriri and Tamsukawu to resettle villagers displaced by insurgents. In Konduga, reconstruction works have started on the big secretariat, market stores, housing estates and private residential houses. While works are to be extended in Konduga, building materials have been deployed to Bama that would require the complete rebuilding of Bama town due to the magnitude of destructions inflicted by the Boko Haram on private homes and public buildings during their occupation. In Maiduguri and Jere, the government has built and commissioned a resettlement estate named Yerewa Peace Estate, comprising 500 units of 2-bedroom flats, which is now being permanently occupied by insurgency victims of Umarari, Guedemagari, and Jajari communities, which were completely razed down during the military offensive that led to the final exodus of Boko Haram from Maiduguri. The Boko Haram had earlier controlled the 3 communities for 2 years after chasing out residents who lived there for decades. The government also rebuilt and remodeled destroyed schools, healthcare centers, and other affected areas. The government is completely committed to accelerating reconstruction works, believing that focus on IDPs should be left to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, the UNICEF, and other non-governmental organizations, while other key interventions, particularly from the federal government and development partners, should focus on reconstruction of communities in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. The Borno government particularly welcomes modern building materials and hospital equipment and will be happy to work with partners who may be ready to be allocated site with specifications and to help in rebuilding any project in any of the affected communities marked for immediate access. The task of rebuilding all communities destroyed by insurgents and rehabilitating victims is a collective one that must be achieved. Let us work together to support humanity.